Hello and welcome. Today I'm in the Tier 8 US destroyer, the Benson. Well, she was the Benson, but then she eventually got renamed to the Loyang for some reason. Which makes me wonder, do you guys think a high Yang exists? And if not, what about a medium Yang? Okay, jokes aside, this is a ranked battle that I just had. And I've been having quite a lot of frustration with ranked battles. Because sometimes I basically have to drag them to a victory kicking and screaming. Well, by them I mean my team, although sometimes it is the enemy team that seems to benefit from my somewhat foolish actions. So I went to the ACAP because this is usually where the southern side goes, and RPF shows that there is a ship in that direction, which means that there is likely a destroyer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just keep reversing, and I'm gonna use hydro because torpedoes are gonna come eventually, right? And if that's a destroyer, you know, they do have a Kagero, which might just torpedo randomly and maybe try to hit me. Well, they have two Kageros, I think. And the Benson. I guess they don't have a Loyang, which is good for us. So I torpedo because that Monarch seems to be coming closer. Oh, and there are the Kagero torpedoes. They wouldn't have hit me, but, you know, you can never be too careful. We took the A cap, they have not taken the B cap due to our Kagero blocking it, which is good. However, if you look at the minimap, you'll see that she seems to be stuck, which means that she's likely not going to survive that encounter. And that is likely to put us behind. So, right now my plan was that I would use smoke and I would try to set a fire on this Monarch, and then my torpedoes go in and they hit her. But now in retrospect that I'm, you know, watching this game a second time, this is a bad plan, because if you look at how far the Monarch is, my torpedoes will not actually make it to the ship even if the torpedoes were properly on target. Which unfortunately means that that was kinda wasted, and as was the smoke. However, this Kagero appearing in my hydro range was a very good gift for me, because it means I basically get a free Kagero kill, or maybe like half a kill, because my hydro is off in 10 seconds, so I'm not actually sure if I can take her in that time. Okay, so I do have to remember that once my hydro... What? Why did those shells fall into the water? Whatever. But I have to remember that once my hydro is off cooldown, I can't see her, which isn't as bad. The main problem is that she likely gets torpedoes very soon, and I don't know when she fires them, so I have to try to take evasive action. My torpedoes are up, but unfortunately a second too late, so I can't exactly use them. And oh my god. Somebody just hit me for 7,000 damage. Probably that Alabama in the middle there. That was quite incredible. Okay, so the smoke is going to break line of sight, and neither of us can see each other. Unfortunately though, there is that Benson in the B cap apparently that is spotting me. And this means I'm gonna take some more damage, which means that I need to try to dodge as much as possible. Which means that I'm gonna point either my nose or aft, in this case the aft, towards the enemies, and I will try to wiggle as much as possible. And you know, sometimes play a little bit with speed, and oh, there's the Kagero again. I will definitely take this shot, because if I get like 2 shell hits that are damaging, that's a Kagero kill. No, actually even 1 was enough. Okay, so I managed to defend the A cap, and for some reason the Benson doesn't... I wanted to say doesn't spot me, but she has again. However, I have defended the A cap, and if you look at the minimap, you'll see that one of my best marks is being an excellent teammate by going to the 10 line and being like 20 kilometers from the closest enemy or something like that. Yeah. Like I said, sometimes you have to drag them kicking and screaming. So, I guess right now what I'm gonna do is, like, okay, so in this current situation, I don't really know what to do. However, if I look at the minimap, I can see that we don't know where the 2 enemy destroyers are, and we haven't really seen them for a while. And there is an Alabama between the A and B caps, so I think it is very likely that one of the destroyers is gonna try to come into the A cap. And as I am spotted, that is the Kagero right ahead of me, and there she is. So I start smoking, I use hydro. I know I'm not gonna get too many hits, so I try to keep up in the smoke by going to half speed, but dropping it to 1/4 before I get out of the smoke screen, because one half speed isn't enough for the smoke screen to keep up. However, if I keep alternating the speed, I go slightly faster. And, you know, I want to get every advantage I can. And, well, we actually almost got the Kagura. So my Hydra is up, which means that I don't really need to... Oh, I got the fire! This means she might be spotted, and there she is. Okay, come on, we can take this Kagura. That would be the second destroyer. Let's go. Let's go. Excellent. Good job, Z-23. And now I'm gonna launch my second torpedo launcher. By the way, if you're wondering, how do I determine how to launch these torpedoes? Often it's pretty much random. Unfortunately, I slid out of the smoke, so I don't want to fire right now, but once I get back into it, I'm gonna keep firing. Now, the thing is, I know that the Benson is around, but because I have Hydra up, I have some safety margin, so even if she torpedoes, I'll be fine. Hopefully I don't get... hopefully she doesn't, like, rush me. That would be unfortunate, but... You know, dumb destroyers might, but the smarter ones usually don't. The very smart ones, although might, because, you know, they'll figure my Hydra is already off. But it's kind of unlikely. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention, how did I decide how to fire my torpedoes? Basically, my answer there is somewhat randomly. But the important part is not to fire where the white line is, in this case, because there is very little chance that they will not be doing some evasive maneuvers of some kind. Which means that it's very unlikely that they will end up in the same position they would have ended up at if they had done nothing. So that's usually what I don't fire. Like right now, you can see I'm not firing there because I expect the Tirpitz to turn towards the right. The Tirpitz is right, that is. And she currently is. Wait, no, that's the wrong ship. Yeah, she isn't doing anything. I'm still gonna fire my torpedoes here though. This time it seems that the Tirpitz is actually going to just sit where she is, so I just picked the best spot I could, or I tried anyway. Now, I have 4,300 HP, which means I don't really want to fight the enemy Benson head-on. Also, if you look at the minimap, we have a second Bismarck that is joining our first amazing Bismarck that went to that 10 line. They seem to be really allergic to the enemy team, which is sad, because it makes the fight that much harder. Now, I get kinda upset at some point with the key a little bit, or well, she gets upset with me and I spit some venom back at her. However, if you look at where she is right now, the key is in a good position. Would be better if she were slightly ahead to be able to help with the B-cap, but you know, that's just peanuts. That's a small thing. Hit the torpedo on the Alabama, that's in the middle. She's been standing there for like the entire game. It's quite amazing if you think about it. Now I'm gonna torpedo on the Tirpitz. Okay, Benson spotting me, that's really bad, so I smoke immediately. And I'm gonna Hydra in a second, because it seems the Benson is actually sailing into me, and I'm gonna start reversing in the smoke so that some of the other ships can't just blind fire easily on me. And this Benson is making a huge mistake by sailing towards me, because I have Hydra up. So there's basically nothing she can do other than try to kill me that will save her. She fired her torpedoes, but they all miss because I have been reversing for a while now. Now, unfortunately, this did spook the Tirpitz that was heading closer, so I didn't quite get the normal salvo off that I wanted. But now what I need to do is I need to wait until these torpedoes pass, and then I torpedo and run, because I think the Tirpitz that's closest to me is planning on rushing me. Now, my torpedoes right now were selected to try to hit the Monarch, but I'm not sure if they're gonna hit. The Monarch might be too fast in going where the enemy Tirpitz that I'm targeting right now is. So that's a bit of a gamble. But you know, I kinda have to take it, because I didn't want to aim too far ahead, since I didn't know what would happen there with the Tirpitz and my friendly key. Yeah, unfortunately the torpedoes miss. But you know, the Loyang torpedoes, especially the 9.2 kilometer ones, are kinda slow, so you do have to take quite big risks, and I really don't want to get that close to them because they have planes. And if I get spotted even for a little bit, I might just get picked off, which is something I really try to avoid. Now, I launched these torpedoes, and I'm hoping that I might be able to hit the Alabama. But, you know, I'm not holding my breath. Because, you know, these torpedoes really aren't like that. At least not with these people that have some inkling of what they are doing. Okay, so they still have 4 battleships. We have our two Bismarcks that one of them seems to have decided to actually join the game. The other one, maybe later. So the important thing is right now to try to hold the B cap as much as we can, and then if the enemies leave the A cap, I should try to turn around and go take it. I think the Alabama is gonna try to maneuver around here to get to the B cap, and I don't really think I can do much about it, because this island is gonna block my torpedoes, and the other problem is that you can just do so many maneuvers. Like, on top of just maneuvering the way she is, she can also slow down, speed up, etc. that will throw the torpedo aim off. And she does have a plane, and I really don't want to risk it. I think she has a plane anyway. So I see that the Alabama is sailing out of the A cap, and the Tirpitz as well. So my plan is to go closer, torpedo, and then head for the A cap. But I don't know if I can actually get any decent torpedoes off here, because I don't think they have enough range, because the Alabama is sailing away from me. And these torpedoes are really slow. They don't have high detection range, but they are slow, which means that random maneuvers by a battleship player can just make her torpedoes not hit. However, all is not lost, because we still have a destroyer, and we are actually ahead in ships, although I think that's gonna change in a bit. Although maybe our Bismarck and Tirpitz will just trade. But I think it will be vital that I don't die here to something stupid. Because I think I will need to do some capping to be able to win this match, otherwise I don't think it's going to work out. Okay, you know, look at our Bismarck that you can see right there with 7,000 HP. She actually rammed the middle island, and I think that is really smart, because this means that the ships, the Tirpitz in this case, has to actually go around the island to get to her. Usually what people do is they will like get near the island and then still keep sailing and then just sail into the enemies and die, and that's kinda... you don't really want to do that. So, all the enemy ships are behind islands, so I might as well fire while heading for the A cap. By the way, notice that this is the same Alabama that is in the same position that she has been in for the entire game. And I hope I can fire over this island. It's kinda blind, but I'll try my best, because I don't want that Tirpitz to ram my Bismarck. Come on! Damn. The Bismarck finished off our Tirpitz. Sorry, the Tirpitz, their Tirpitz finished off our Bismarck with the main batteries. The fire from the Bismarck got the Tirpitz, so you know, it was a trade, which is okay. So there's 5 minutes left. We have a 42,000 HP Bismarck, they have a 32,000 HP Alabama, and we also have a Loyang. Now, if I were that Bismarck, I would be pretty comfortable in this kind of a match, because what I would do is I would just I don't know, either switch to HE or try to just blanket with my secondaries and run away. Not go closer to the Alabama, because there's really no reason to, since, you know, she has a Loyang on her team. However, I am not that Bismarck, I am the Loyang, which means that Bismarck, considering what she has done so far, might do some very stupid things, so I can't really expect anything out of her. Which means that I will try and go and just try to block the Alabama from taking the B cap, because we will have the A cap, right? And we will slowly be ticking into the points lead. And there's still 4 minutes left, so even if we lose the Bismarck, I think we should still win the game. Now, remember how I said that this guy has been hugging that one spot between the 2 islands? She's still there, and this is a really good spot, especially from that side of the map, because it's really hard to torpedo a target that is over there. So, what I was thinking is I'm gonna torpedo and I'm gonna smoke here and I'm gonna shell the Alabama. And this is what I'm gonna do in a few seconds. However, you know, again, watching in retrospect this game, it's not the smartest idea. First of all, because apparently the Bismarck is not spotting her, but the other reason is that the Alabama is likely to just head forwards, and then I can't do anything. However, there is also one other idea, and the idea is that the Alabama might still try to take a blind shot, and I am not that healthy. Which means that that blind shot might just end up killing me. I might still be able to hit her behind an island, which, you know, is actually better for me than before, because, you know, she can't shoot me back now. Okay, good thing is that plane got taken out. I torpedo, hoping that since she is reversing I will get a hit. Probably not gonna happen, but you know, I'll still try my best. And I'm just gonna keep shelling with my HE, because if I can get maybe a few fires to go away, maybe in conjunction with the Bismarcks this might work out. However, she's gonna be behind the island I can't fire out over in a moment, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn closer and I'm gonna torpedo the A cap, basically the edge on the near the airstrip that's right here, because I think the Alabama is gonna take out the Bismarck, and what's gonna happen, well, what should happen is that the Alabama should then go for the A cap, right? Because that's kind of what you would want to do, since you do want some points or something like that, especially since she knows that I'm in this direction. You know, these are the torpedoes, exactly what I meant. However, now I need to turn and run as much as I can. It would be good to know where the Alabama is. The trouble is, though, that if I get spotted, I was slightly too close and I would be detected. And I think that would be bad for the game, especially since our Bismarck has 216 HP. But you know, all the while this has been happening, we are still ticking ahead in points, and we are actually far away ahead enough that even if our Bismarck goes under, this is still our game, which means that at this point we actually have won the game. And right now it's just whatever, it doesn't matter what happens now. As long as I don't die, of course. But I don't really see any way of that happening, and well, there she is. I try one shot, but, well, I guess the second one is more towards the island. But this game is now over. Especially since there's only like 35 seconds left. And now, I'm just not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna jeopardize the game. And there it is. Okay, so 10,000 XP. Wow! Almost 2,700 base XP in a ranked battle. 2 ships destroyed, 1 solo cap, 1 assisted cap. I guess I did take out the full Kagero, half of a Benson, half of a second Kagero, actually more than half of a second Kagero. And I did some damage to the Alabama, Tirpitz, Monarch, and the other Tirpitz. Yeah, this was a really successful game for me. Like I said, sometimes you do have to drag them kicking and screaming, because it seems my team did try to lose this one. So, let's take a look at the Loyang in the port. I used the 9.2 kilometer torpedoes on the Loyang, although they are only 55 knots. However, the good thing is that their detection time is more or less similar to what you will get with the 6.7 kilometer torpedoes, and, you know, the extra 2.5 kilometers, in my opinion, is worth it. Because they do less damage and they go slower. However, I think you get so many more options with them, and you are a much bigger threat. Obviously, I also use Hydro on the Loyang. In terms of upgrades, I obviously go for main arms modification 1 because you don't want your torpedo launchers or your main batteries broken, and the other ones aren't as good. In the second slot, I use the hydroacoustic search modification special upgrade because one of the greatest strengths of this ship is the Hydro, because your Hydro is 5.43 kilometers. The only other destroyer that has Hydro this good is the Z-52. The Z-46, the Z-23, etc. they don't have Hydro as good as the Loyangs. In the third slot, I use the AA guns modification because it really doesn't matter. You could also use the smoke generator one. I think it would be like a few second gain, but I think the AA guns are slightly better because, you know, she does have a little bit of AA, so you can shoot down those pesky scout planes. In the fourth slot, I use propulsion modification 2 because you already have enough rudder shift time, so you don't really need the rudder shift upgrade, and damage control on a destroyer is kind of pointless. So this just makes it better if you are standing still in a smoke and you need to quickly leave it. And in the last slot, I use concealment system modification 1 as is usual on destroyers, and this puts you at a nice 5.8 kilometer concealment range. In terms of commander skills, this is what I go for. Priority target first, then I go for last stand, superintendent, and concealment expert. The reason being obviously that you want to know when you're targeted. With last stand, when your engine is broken, you want to be able to still maneuver and steer your ship, because you know the stuff does happen a lot and you still want to be able to have control. Superintendent gives you an extra smoke and hydro, which is incredibly good. Concealment expert is a must on almost every destroyer. After that, I went for radio location, because I think radio location is really good, since when you're in a smoke, you know, you don't always have a hydro available. You will know more or less if a destroyer is coming around or how ships are moving. On top of that, you know, you can try to hunt down destroyers with this. Now, I also take survivability expert because you obviously want more HP, and survivability expert on a destroyer is good because you get 350 HP per tier. So at tier 8 this is 2400, 2600. No, 2800, I think, something like that. You get that much HP, so you know that helps you survive. That's like 2 extra hits you can take. And the last 2 points I go for adrenaline rush because you usually do take damage, and this helps your torpedoes reload faster and your guns, which, you know, helps you deal more damage and be more useful. Yeah, basically this is what I use on the Loyang, and I kind of like this build. I don't really have many problems with it. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to thank the patrons and Patreon. Thank you very much for being patient with me, and I would like to thank specifically Ultra Real for your continued support, and I hope I'll see you guys next time.